Well, we have already seen the damage Hurricane Irma can cause. The island of Barbuda is barely livable. 90% of its buildings are damaged. For a moment, it seemed as though Florida might catch a break when Irma was lowered to a Category 4 storm, but last night it was pushed back up to a Category 5. And one thing that has not changed is the concern over its path. It is still heading straight towards Florida. Joined by Ellen Bacanow inside the tracking center. Ellen, one thing we have seen as we've watched Irma move up towards Florida is it's moved west a bit from the east coast to more of the west coast in terms of its direct path.
Right, so the initial projections took it up straight through Miami, and now it's looking like Key West and up through the Tampa area once we get a little bit later on in the forecast here through the weekend. So I want to show you what's going on Storm Track Live because we have 3 different tropical systems that we're watching. Tropical Storm Katia running into Mexico now, basically just a bigger rainstorm there. Then we have Hurricane Jose, a Cat 4, much smaller in size though than Irma. And that's one of the big concerns with Irma is that it's just such a wide wind field here. So as it rolls into Florida, everyone in Florida and even the Bahamas right now getting the effects of that. So if we talk about what's steering Irma, it's this northward push that's going to start to scoop it on up. That same push is going to be affecting Jose. So here is Jose's projected path first. Luckily for us, it looks like it's going to be taking that northward turn before it even gets to the Bahamas, steering clear out into the ocean and downgrading to a Cat 1. Now, Irma itself over the last 12 hours or so has raked across Cuba, and now it's going to start to get that push to the north. So again, if we look to see those steering winds, you can already start to see that scoop taking place on our satellite imagery. So once it hits on the west side of Florida, it's going to get picked up and pushed off to the north. So here's a look at that hurricane track as we get into the Key West area, potentially a Cat 4 to Cat 5, and that's going to happen around 8 a.m. tomorrow. Moving into the Fort Myers area by 2 o'clock tomorrow. Jacksonville sweeping just to the side closer to about overnight into Tuesday, and then eventually ending up as a tropical storm right by Memphis.
Ellen, of course, something we'll be keeping a close eye on. Thank you for that. And coming up on today, that's in just about a half hour, Al Roker will be tracking Hurricane Irma as it heads towards Florida. The Today Show is live from Miami. That's after daybreak in about 20 minutes. And our special coverage of Hurricane Irma will continue all weekend long right here on Wood TV. Lester Holt will anchor NBC Nightly News live from Miami. And then tomorrow morning, Lester, Matt Lauer, and Savannah Guthrie will anchor live coverage of Irma's landfall. That's starting at 6 a.m. 24-hour News 8 Daybreak will switch over to WOTV 4 at 6 a.m.